Now, puffins have been seen on the Isle of Muck in County Antrim for the first time in decades. The rare sighting comes after a major scheme to remove invasive brown rats was introduced 8 years ago to better protect the red-listed species. Nature Reserve staff say they're hoping to see the first pufflings or puffin chicks next summer. I love that word. Let's speak to Nature Reserve's manager, Andy Crory, at the charity Ulster Wildlife. He joins us from County Down. Andy, thank you very much. What a good news story for you. Just tell us, how long has it been since puffins had been seen there?
There was only ever anecdotal accounts of puffins at Isle of Muck. There was no confirmed breeding or even attempts at nesting. People had said that puffins had maybe bred on the island maybe 50, 60 years ago. So we're talking maybe middle part of the 20th century, something like that. So we saw 5 puffins actually on top of the island last year. We'd seen them in ones and twos around the island bobbing about, and we always thought, wouldn't it be great if they nested? And the seabird recovery project that we initiated was actually, it wasn't for puffins, although puffins would have been the grand prize or one of them. It was for all the other seabirds, because Isle of Muck is the third largest seabird colony in Northern Ireland. So it's home to a wide range of seabird species like kittiwakes and razorbills, guillemots, black guillemots, shags, fulmars, the full range of species, and now it's joined by puffins, which is the icing on the cake.
Yeah, when you first saw or confirmed the sighting, what was that like after so long, sort of dreaming about that day that they would come back?
Yeah, we saw it on the island. I couldn't believe it. We were there with a party from the British Trust for Ornithology, and one of them came back and said, "I've just seen a puffin." He just nonchalantly said, "Oh, I just saw a puffin fly out of burrow." And I was standing on the island, I could have fallen off the island. I was that shocked. It was such good news. And then when we were doing the survey, we count the island every year. We do a full colony count of all the species of seabirds that are found there. And when we were doing the survey, we knew puffins were at one end of the island, and that was good. At the other end of the island, I was scanning the cliffs, and I put my binoculars up. I was looking at a raven's nest, and just beside it was a little hole. And out of the hole, out of the darkness, all I saw was this yellow and orange beak and this black and blue puffin waddling towards me. And just blew me away. I turned around to the guys who were with me and said, "That is the best thing I've seen this year. In fact, it's probably one of the best things I've ever seen." And it was so good because that just reflects, it was such a good payoff for all the real hard work that our Nature Reserves team does and our volunteers. And we're supported, we're a charity, we're one of the wildlife trusts, and we're supported by members as well. So this is a group effort. Isle of Muck in itself was bought with assistance of our members in the 1980s. You could buy, the campaign was to buy a yard of muck. So yeah, it's really an awful lot of things have come together. It's a group effort.
Andy, what sort of help did the puffins require to return to the island? Was it just a case of removing those invasive brown rats which had eliminated them?
Yeah, probably that. And we instituted grazing, so there hadn't been. We put sheep on the island for the first time since probably the same since about the 1960s. So that brought down an awful lot of the cover as well.
Right, so that's the cover for predators. That because sheep were on the island nibbling away at it, it made it harder for predators to hide.
Yeah, basically, it reduced the cover for them. And we got rid of the rats. And as soon as you remove rats from any of these islands, because you have to remember that the seabirds on these islands have evolved in the absence of rats. The brown rat is a non-native invasive. It's not native to the UK and Ireland. So the seabirds don't really have any defence against it. And they devastate seabird colonies. But once you remove rats, that's it. That's the breathing space for nature. And nature has a really, really good habit of once you give that space, it shows conservation works, nature takes off again. So it's really good.
And briefly, Andy, I know puffins, they don't breed very quickly. How are you viewing the goal of how many you would like to see nesting there and resident on the island again?
Well, we'll see next year. We're going to put out a series of trail cameras, and put a bit more monitoring on the island, and we carry out the traditional bird surveys every year. So that's one of the things we'll be on the lookout for. The hope is that the Isle of Muck becomes a stronghold. As I say, Isle of Muck is the third largest seabird colony in Northern Ireland. So adding puffins to it is, as I say, icing on the cake. And the puffins wouldn't be there if they weren't happy.
Andy Crory, I can tell you're happy, from the charity Ulster Wildlife. Thank you very much for talking to us. Now, today is the birthday of His Majesty the King.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Your Majesty.
King Charles made a visit to a wet and windy South Wales on his 77th birthday. November the 14th is the actual birthday of the King. He has an official birthday in June, marked by trooping the colour. Earlier in the day, there were military gun salutes across the UK. This was in Green Park in central London, and Buckingham Palace released this photo of the King at the Sandringham estate, but we're told he's actually spending it in South Wales with Queen Camilla. Thanks for being with us on The World Today. I'll be back in a few minutes.